It's currently 7:05 a.m. in Tasmania, Australia. It's a pleasant 7 degrees Celsius. We're on our way to work. And today, Groovers, we are smoting the topics of YouTube that you would like to see disappear. Like, we're just going to virtually sort of smote them into the ocean or up onto the mountain where they can freeze in the snow. I don't know. But I am a realist and I know, hello, Chixie, you're usually first in on these morning drives. Now, I know that topics are forever and people will discover things for the first time years after it happened and be enthralled by it and want to talk about it ad nauseum. I get that. This is not a realistic live. It's just a beholder. G'day. This is more of a bit of fun because I just want to explain why this is the topic. It's more get them off our algorithm than disappear forever. Because, like I said, some people, like, for example, the Chris Watts fucking case. So, you know, the Netflix documentary came out and a whole new generation of people found out about that, and rightly so, were intrigued. And in another year or 10 years or 5 years, more people will stumble across it for the first time. Like, we talk about Jack the Ripper and Charles Manson. Hey, Dennis. You know, and murderers from centuries ago. Like, it's not going to, but off our algorithm would be really nice. This is a chance for all of us to sort of smote the topic and get it off our timeline. So I was actually going to listen to a podcast driving in this morning. I wasn't going to go live. And I've unsubscribed from so many channels that I first used to follow and hang around in and troll in. When I first discovered YouTube Lives. But the same shit that they're still talking about, most likely, is still in my bloody recommended list from other channels. And I couldn't, I was out of the pub. I'm like, I've got to hit the road. I've got to go to work. I don't have time to scroll through this bloody recommended list for 5-10 minutes to find something to listen to. Fuck it, I'll just go live and talk about the topics on our algorithm that we would like to set free. But what also made me think about it was not just then not being able to find anything I wanted to listen to, because there was a lot of summer wells, and it's a horrible story, and it's sad that she's missing, but all this time and energy into this child who's been missing for over a year now, and there's so many other kids that are missing that never get mentioned. But anyway, yesterday I was educating myself on, I kind of hinted at it yesterday morning, on how to deal with a legit narcissist in your life that you can't kind of get rid of because they're in your life for a reason other than choice. And I think it's good to do refresher courses, stuff like that. And when I dated the diagnosed guy with NPD, the doctor was pretty much like, not to me, to his ex-wife, was pretty much, hey, Kerry, was pretty much just turn around and run in the opposite direction, don't look back. That was pretty much the advice Susan got. So I was like, I might just see if there's some, hints and tips. And the takeout from it was like to disconnect and emotionally and not take things personally. So that was my approach that I've adopted. But as a result of that, last night when I'm trying to choose something to listen to on the drive home, there were a shitload of videos about narcissists. And I kind of just started playing one because I thought, maybe there'll be some more tips and advice. And the first one was boring as batshit, so I skipped that. And then the next one kicked in, this guy that people told me to subscribe to during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and I was reassured that he's hilarious. And I think I've heard him say one funny thing in the maybe 6 hours of him I've listened to. But he's done a lot of stuff on narcissism, and I'm not saying his advice and information isn't useful, but I just find him very monotone and boring. And I feel I'm monotone and boring too. So, just before you think I'm being judgy. But anyway, whatever the other person was talking about, and this dude comes on, and I'm like, oh, great. Insomnia guy. Like, he cures insomnia as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, on he comes. It got my attention because he was discussing narcissism and several other things. She thought, thank fuck all the lives or anything for a long time. Let's listen and see what he thinks. I'm definitely not boring. Well, thank you, Kerry. Is it comedy hour again for you? But this morning, with your jokes that are too long, for they can't fit in the screen, I can't read it, but I know that you were entertaining the masses yesterday. So anyway, I thought, I'll listen to this guy's take on Chris Watts and narcissism, and I can't remember the other things, but there were several other sort of psychological conditions. And there was a fact that he mentioned twice, a fact allegedly that I never heard. So it's kind of interesting in a way, because it's interesting listening to someone recapping a case that you knew inside and out and could quote text messages, and you got obsessed with it. It's interesting hearing other people summarising it. And for the most part, I mean, he called Shannon, and for the most part, he got it right. But he mentioned not once but twice that Chris admitted behind closed doors he was giggling because he'd told the cops he didn't do it. And I do not remember that. Not saying it didn't happen, but it was just weird. It was like, how did that little snippet miss me back in the day? He cures zombies. Sound cutouts entertaining. I don't know what you're talking about, Kerry. Anywho, so there was that little snippet, but the weird thing was at some point I was like, I don't care. I don't care what. I mean, he said he wasn't going to actually diagnose Chris Watts, but I was kind of like, no, I'm well and truly over this subject. Like, it had me interested for a little while, and like I said, he mentioned a few things I'd never heard before, but other than that, I'm totally fatigued by that. Look, I'm done. Well, it's just, I've had my fill. So then I skipped on to the next video, and it was some other person talking about whether or not Brian Laundrie is a narcissist or was a narcissist. And then I skipped again, and guess what? It was about Amber Heard. And I was like, these topics that, look, the Laundrie Gabby Petito stuff is back in the spotlight because of the recent motion to strike and the two cases that the Potatoes have launched. But there's still people on YouTube talking about the distance from the creek to the alleged spot where he lit the alleged fire. I mean, I don't know. It just is like, what do you want? What do you guys want? Like, you don't think this has been investigated within an inch of its friggin' life? And if you're still interested in the case, why aren't you talking about the suits that her mum and dad have filed? Why are you still speculating about stuff that at the end of the day, it's not going to change the outcome, sadly, for Gabby, or the outcome for Brian. Notice I left the word sadly out for him. But so here's the thing. What algorithm keeps delivering the same subject matter? Because YouTube is just like this. It's just the days of our YouTube lives. It's Groundhog Day. But we're going to smote topics off our algorithm. I don't give a flying flip if people discover the Chris Watts case in 5 years' time and want to talk about it till the cows come home. I just want it off my fucking timeline. Get it off my timeline. I'm having Japanese tonight with my nieces and my sister, and I could not be more excited. Well, I could. I'll be more excited at about 5 to 5, but all right. Kerry, I can't read lowercase when I'm driving. I'm really sorry. If I'm crawling in traffic, I might be able to zoom in on what you're saying, but I think you're talking about how Amber's got new. Well, there's definitely rumblings and stuff, but I'm still a bit, I feel like we digested it, we discussed it, and we're ready for some fresh blood. I mean, don't get me wrong. If she does lodge an appeal, I'll probably talk about it if I'm that inclined. But I just feel I'm conscious of how YouTube is a Groundhog Day machine, and for fresh conversations, move on. Like if something incredible, like if Australia goes ahead and goes after Amber for perjury, you bet I'll be covering that. On my home turf? Of course I will. I did see an American YouTuber who said, "Thank fuck Australia's got balls. They're going to go after Amber for perjury. Come on, America, grow some balls." And I was like, that's actually quite funny. No, I haven't, Joey. I've literally got up and got ready to go to work. But that sounds horrific. Did not even have a millisecond to listen to anything this morning. I literally, apart from when I quickly jumped in the car just then, and I didn't see anything on my timeline about a shooting. And that's the point about this live is get the stuff off my algorithm that I'm not interested in. I want to listen to fresh stuff. But that sounds horrible. Absolutely horrible. Papers allegedly filed by, yeah, and like I said, Kerry, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to cover them. I'm just saying I need some fresh stuff. Like I'm not in the whole gushing over Johnny traveling around Europe playing on stages and shit. I don't care. I'm happy that he got to tell his story and he empowered male victims. That's what mattered to me. Chicago happened at a parade, 6 dead, shooter at large. And they'll shoot and kill him when they find him, which I still find so weird because shoot to kill is the last resort here. And having studied law and criminology, to be able to pick the brain of people who commit horrific crimes and try and work out what the hell was going on and target programs and pilot programs to try to reduce this happening. And unfortunately in the States it's going to keep happening. But You know, you don't shoot and kill Chris Watts and he's a bullshitter and you're never going to find out the truth from people like him. But there are other people that do speak out about what drove them to commit crimes. So, yeah, shoot to kill, I find it so weird. It's like you just lost an opportunity to study why this happens. I don't know how Amber's even able to afford an appeal, Kerry, like to lodge an appeal. I can't. I mean, unless Elaine is just wanting her second 15 minutes of fame and is going to do a pro bono, I wouldn't take her on. No way. I can't stand the juju that comes off that woman. All these little clips of her being her before everything turned to shit. There's an energy on that comes off her that is really vile. And it didn't come off her so much in court. I mean, she was vile in court, but I've seen her being viler in these clips because she was trying to look humble and conservative and wounded. She's sort of masking her arrogance. Not saying that that arrogance wasn't noticeable as well in court, but when you see her fist pumping the air going, yeah, domestic violence, you kind of got to question her rotten soul. Oh, Joe Wilson's going to get controversial and bring in Roe v. Wade and gun control at 7:22 a.m. on a, what is it, Tuesday morning. It's messed up, but they can't ban guns. They'll never be able to ban guns. They've got to, there's no opportunity for them to do that. First, it's their constitutional right. Secondly, there's more guns in America than people. They can't do what we did here. Well, I think it's unfortunate, but I didn't grow up in a culture of people, you know, hack and eat. But it's fucked up. You've had your rant? No, keep going, Joey. I love it. Oh, this is all about us venting. I mean, we can, and that's a topic this is, I guess, the point I'm trying to make. You've just made me realise. But there's fuckwits that are still analysing, you know, the last pea that Chris Watts ate before he murdered his family, or the last friggin' carrot Brian Laundrie peeled before he murdered Gabby, will be discussed for the next 50 fucking years. But try and find people talking about what is actually happening with the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. Like, where are all the channels addressing that issue? Why isn't the body autonomy of the women of the US of A the hot topic instead of flogging dead horses? And I hated using the word dead when I'm talking about murder victims, but why invest so many hours and so much energy into flogging a dead horse when there's shit happening in your country right now? The ramifications of that are horrific. Or even as vile as that is, even the shooting, I would have thought when I was quickly scanning my timeline, there might have been someone covering that, but I didn't, mind you, I just kept saying, Petito, Watts, heard. Petito, Watts, heard. And I was like, what year is this? Am I still in, well, obviously not 2018 because Watson, Petito and Heard, and Wells. One turtle dove she is driving. Yeah, look, no, I don't think that's, Joey, I hope that's not, well, it might be the case, but it's the people that are not able to access them now that I'm more concerned about, to be honest. Like, I do, if people are feeling guilty about it, it's unfortunate, but it wasn't an issue when they had the abortion, and they need to remind themselves that they were fortunate enough to access an abortion. It's the women now who are being incredibly disadvantaged. Hey, why? Yeah, and I think there are elements of gun control, like banning assault rifles, because who fucking needs to own one? You know, not a bloody teenager, and I mean, who needs to own an assault rifle? I'm sorry, but that's just not cricket. You know, and the whole thing with self-defense, that argument, is that your self-defense has to be commensurate with the threat. So if somebody is on your property waving a cucumber in the air and you get a bloody assault rifle and blow their head off, it's not matchy-matchy. And maybe that's not the law in the States, but in Australia, if that happened, if Joey Wilson rocked up at my place with a Nerf gun and was firing foam pellets at my fence, and I came out with a bazooka and fired it at her, I'd go to jail. And hopefully my bazooka firing skills were shit and Joey didn't actually cop a bazooka up the butt. But if she did, she'd be able to sue the pants off me as well. But there's a lot of support for what's happening in the States in my child-free group, and they're very vocal about it and very upset. And there's probably more people in my group now wanting, there's more Americans in my group than any other country, but there's probably more people in the group now that want to leave the States than when Trump got in. And that's saying something. Because the panic and the pleading for people in other countries to help educate them on quickly, quick. Oh my God, you do the right thing, and she doesn't. She could have 4 cars could have got out in that time, lady. She did thank me though. Yeah, no, you break into someone's house and hurt yourself, and you can sue. Isn't that up? Oh, sir, you've got a public liability claim. What? Even though I was wearing a balaclava and carrying a crossbow, straight trespassing in a stranger's home, and I stubbed my toe, I can sue him? You guilty. But that shooting's put a bit of a dampener on the 4th of July celebrations. But on the 4th of July, she's a Yankee Doodle sweetheart. What the fuck? I used to sing that song when I was, oh no, I didn't actually. I used to hear that song a lot when I was, well, especially around the 4th of July, when I lived in the United States of Americana. You, tailgating me is pointless. There's no room in front of me, mate. So just maybe back off a little bit. You don't need to put your car on the back seat of mine, if that's all right. Some people just don't know the rule. If you can't see the tyres in front of you, on the car in front of you, you're too fucking close. Some twerp behind the fucker who's riding my tail isn't paying attention and rams him up the clucker. He's right up mine. Thanks very much. Back off, you pushy fuck. Oh, stop animal cruelty. Hello, and how nice to see you. Where have you been? I miss you. So nice to see you. I hope you're doing well, gorgeous. The no ones from Newcastle. Oakley Coakley, I'll check them out. I wish I could get like a sign attached to the back of my car, like in a slot, a bit James Bond style, that when people are tailgating, it just pops up and says, "Back off, motherfucker." Hey, Journey to Justice. Journey to Justice, you've had two, I think, stories on batshit of both won. That woman that was essentially shagging a fence, that article you sent, I found the video and played it, and she was riding that fence. Yeah, I miss you a lot, Stop Animal Cruelty. It's so nice to see you. But yeah, the fence fucker, she won. And I think the other one you sent me was the ragdoll baby. That one as well. You're kicking goals when it comes to supplying stories for batshit. And yeah, happy 4th of July to all of our US of A comrades. All right, there's water. Quick, throw subjects that get flogged to death on YouTube. It's just to get it off our algorithm. I don't care if people discover Chris Watts in 2047 and start talking about it, because I'll be dead. But it just throw topics out that there window, out through the front windscreen with the crack. The crack grew a little bit yesterday, not much, but it did grow a little bit. The fence lover article is still showing on Facebook. Well, it's still doing the round. Well, of course it would be. I mean, hello. It's not every day you can watch video of a woman riding a fence. You were going to send me the cow shit, the cow dung throwing festival. Oh, I'll see if it happened recently, and if it's sort of recent enough, it might make it into batshit. But Finn is very, um, he berated me once because I had a story that was like 10 days old. And it was probably a show when I found all the stories. It was this week. Awesome sauce. I'll probably forget. I'm going to have another day. Oh my God, my day at work yesterday was way worse than I thought it was going to be. I got through it, but it was so full on. At least one of my colleagues, one of my colleagues is back today after her wedding on the weekend. So she'll hopefully be bright and bubbly and perky and happy and all loved up from her wedding. I don't know how I find them, but I do. There are some amazing people out there with amazing lives. Batshit crazy. Yeah, look, that's one algorithm I don't want to lose on my laptop. Oh my God, the stories, because I covered a few. I've got an absolute ball terror for Finn this week. 2042, I'll be alive. Maybe. Sounds like an awful long way away, but then look how quickly we got to 2022. I mean, for me, the New Year's Eve, that, millennial bug New Year's Eve, 1999, from that New Year's Eve till now, it feels like a couple of months. 2022 is closer than the 80s. Fuck. There's a reality check for all us elderly folk. Love you all. I'm going into a likely tense 4th of July party in conservative, wealthy Naples, Florida. For me, I make it out alive. Have a good one, I hope. Yeah, and Joey's comment just popped up. She said the same thing at the same time. That's so fucking Aussie. Have a good one. Have a good one, mate. And sending out positive vibes, you get out alive. Indeed. Everyone send out some positive vibes for Will the Rocker too. He could do with some love right now. That shit this week is Wednesday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time, around the 8:30 mark. Might even be 8-ish. I don't know. Still waiting to hear back from. Well, I'm not waiting. Finn and I will connect tomorrow and discuss that. And tomorrow, my car gets a new windscreen. And yesterday, the insurer called me to let me know the claim had been accepted. And I was like, dude, you're a bit behind the times. It was accepted on Saturday. I got the claim number. It was booked in with Windscreens O'Brien. Like the entire call the insurer to lodge a claim, have it booked in for a new windscreen, all happened in 20 minutes, very late on Saturday afternoon. And I said to her, I'm going to, or him actually, it was him yesterday. I said, I'm going to be, no, it was her, singing your praises. CGU, you did a great job. Windscreens O'Brien, kicked ass. Unbelievably impressive. Trixie hated Naples. Just send him some love. I'm not going to tell people what's going on, but yeah, he's all right. He's good, but he just needs a bit of love right now. Life. He's just got life things and he needs a bit of love. You watched none of the Amber trial, not your thing? I respect that. I watched it because of the ramifications on male victims of domestic violence. But the whole, there's a whole crowd of people that are now, oh, Johnny Depp spotted walking out of a building in Florence, or Johnny popping up on stage. I'm not that stuff. I just wanted him to tell his story and find peace and be able to get on with everything that he loves. Like I don't care if there's another Captain Jack Sparrow performance or what he's up to. I just feel happy for him that he got to tell his story and he can get on with his life. But yeah, from a legal perspective, there were elements of it that I found really interesting. Stop animal cruelty, but I'm proud of you for not sort of getting caught up in stuff that doesn't interest you, because I think a shitload of people on YouTube do. They seriously, there's hundreds of people that tune in to channels that are literally just bitching about another YouTuber. Do they honestly really care, or do they just want to be voyeurs and watch train wrecks rip each other to shreds on YouTube? It's like a spectator sport. I mean, there's often subs that are so invested, though, that they're particularly vicious and brutal in chat as well. So it gives nasty people a platform to be assholes in chat. Yeah, trials are fantastic. I mean, that's why I got into law. I didn't get into law to be sitting at my computer pushing paper. I got into law to be in court because that's the fun stuff for me. Yeah, she did say she wants to move on and she wanted Johnny to leave her alone, and he pretty much has. And she can't let go. She's obsessed. Oh, my God. There's some really fucked up drivers out here today, and funny enough, both of them are in Subarus. Where's my friend Shannon, who was in chat yesterday talking about her Subaru? Your Subaru tribe are letting you down this morning. There's two of them on the road, and they're both driving like fuckwits. The one behind me is a pain in the ass, but that blue one up ahead just, I don't know, just freaked out, didn't know the give way rule and just shot in front of the car that had the right of way, as you do. Fuck me dead. Let's throw tailgaters out into the void. Now we're going over some more water. There you go. Tailgaters, be gone. Oh, I just saw the last bit of your message, Stop Animal Cruelty, and it doesn't sound like you've been having a good time at all. I'm so sorry, beautiful. I'll send you a message. I mean, I'm sorry to hear your news, but also I'm sorry I wasn't able to read all of it because I'm focusing on the road a bit at the moment. Everyone give Stop Animal Cruelty some love. She sounds like the bit that I saw, she needs a lot of love right now too. See, at least you popped in and you get some love from us. Hopefully that will make you be feeling a nice big virtual hug. I don't know what case everyone's talking about. But because I left home 5 minutes later than I usually do, there might be a bit of crawly traffic coming up and I'll be able to read chat again. The temperature's dropped by 1 degree. See, this is the problem with driving. All I can do is give you temperature updates. But I know you guys are all chatty little fuckers and you'll keep each other company while I'm driving. When I was driving down to my sister's the other day, I listened to a true crime story of this girl whose name I can't recall, but I will be able to find it by Googling her. Because it kind of piqued my curiosity to maybe have a look at it. But she had serious mental health issues and essentially stalked the fuck out of this dude she met on a dating app called Lexi. And the system just totally took advantage of her mental health issues and she wasn't really protected by the system. I mean, she was a messed up unit and delusional and living in a fantasy world, and she believed she found the theory for love, like the sort of Einstein-y equivalent equation for love. But yeah, they just totally ignored her mental health issues, and it was pretty disturbing. And having just watched that episode of Web of Deceit with Andrew Finch being murdered because the SWAT team went to the wrong house, and then 2 other people, his niece and her boyfriend, both ended their lives. Like, essentially, that's what led to the death of 3 people, and the cop walked away scot-free. I'm kind of thinking that these stories of injustice are pretty interesting and worth us chatting about, because how can it happen so often in such a transparent world where we've got, cameras and CCTV footage and body cams on cops, and you would think that knowing you're being filmed would lead to a higher level of transparency. And even when they were questioning this girl, all of that was being filmed as well. But yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. I think the injustice stories don't seem to get as much coverage as like Chris Watts, where justice was served. The guy's locked away for the term of his natural life, never to be released. Let him rot in jail. Yet fuckers are still chatting about that, but they're not getting fired up about grave injustices that could happen to them or someone in their family or a friend. It's pretty frightening where people's priorities lie. You know, what they will get excited about and want to talk about for days, weeks, months, years on end. But meanwhile, other things are happening under their nose that are way more controversial and frightening, and they don't want to talk about it. But then if it happens to them and nobody will listen to them, they'll be complaining and screaming to the moon about it. I guess if it's not in their backyard, if it's not someone they know, why should they give a fuck about it? But I think they should. I'm so sorry I can't read chat. Hi to anyone who may have wandered in. Just a reminder too, I mean, I'll have a little bit of time in the car park, but if we get stuck in traffic, I'm able to read short comments in capital letters. And that's about it. So I don't want anyone to feel like I'm ignoring them, but that's just the way it is when I'm driving. I should probably put a pinned comment before I go live just saying, just a reminder, I don't read chat a lot when I'm driving. I'll probably ramble on and vent, and if and when I can read chat, I will. But I think you guys all know that now, hopefully. I haven't had anyone yell at me for a while about not responding to something they put in my chat when I was driving. It's like, maybe you could go live on StreamYard, which is not an app, it's a browser on your phone, and see what it's like before you drag me over the hot coals. And I figure the scenery is pretty. Even if you mute me because you're sick of me rambling on, just enjoy the scenery. It sounds really weird. Now that we're actually like able to do 110 kilometres an hour, that Subaru that was right up my clucker when we were literally deadlocked in crawling traffic is now about a half a kilometre behind me. Like, what was the urgency when nobody could let that fucker get through because we're all in the traffic together? But now that he can actually use his accelerator, he's miles behind. Now I've got a new tailgater. We're now down to 90 kilometres an hour, but for some reason she thinks she's allowed. She's got 3 tiny kids in her car. That makes me feel sick. Like, I don't take massive risks when I'm driving, but if I'm driving on my own, if I was going to take a little risk, I'd do it if it was me on my own. But if I had a passenger in the car with me, I wouldn't do it. Like, extra people in my car makes my risk taking diminish. And like I said, I mean, I don't take crazy risks, but having precious cargo, not that I'm not, but having somebody else in my car impacts the decisions that I make that I may not make if I'm on my own. But people driving, like, speeding and ignoring road signs and other cars and whatever, when they've got children in there, oh my God, it makes me want to pretend that my car's broken down so I can block them and get out and have a stern word with them for their foolishness. I mean, imagine being their kids in the car. They'd be fucking terrified. Crazy. Going over another body of water soon, over the bridge, you'll be able to throw your woes off the bridge. Oh, did you do a little PSA for me, Joey? Thank you. You want to go home to the UK next year, Journey to Justice? My sister and niece and I, my oldest niece, we're starting to plan a Singapore trip, which will happen in the next 12 months. I'm very excited about that. We're doing a girls' trip to go over and stay with my brother and sister-in-law. And they will be phenomenal tour guides because they've been there for 18 months now and they've explored every millimetre of the island. You stopped smoking. Congratulations. Stop animal cruelty. I'm about to go down the Champix Road. I've got my date sorted. I'm in the middle of a full-on gym challenge. And if I start craving a cig, it's like chuck on your sneakers and get on the treadmill at the gym or do a class or do some yoga, whatever it takes. But I'm proud of you, girl. Now we have to throw up some celebration emojis and congratulations to you. My GP is quite funny because I was set to get the script for Champix, but she sort of said to me, you know, don't put yourself under too much pressure with this. And at the end of the day, you're 55 and you got to 55 as a smoker. You should celebrate that. Like, she's not she obviously knows that I'm educated, and who doesn't know the dangers of smoking? But I like that she's not an asshole about it, although she's very anti-vaping. She sort of said to me, if you told me you were going to try and quit, I let you get over, and you didn't take the opportunity. And now I'm stuck in a lane that I want to be stuck in. Cool, let's get over now. But yeah, if I said I was going to use vapes, she would be very anti that. She'd lecture me about vaping for sure. She is not a fan of the vapes. Oh, of course, you're going to have fireworks. Yep, get the pets in. Poor little things. There's someone down where I live. Oh, you are vaping stuff, and look, I'm not criticising vaping. I think whatever people need to do. But I was just saying my GP is pretty she's decent, like she's a good girl. She's not judgy, and she's supportive. Like if her patients say they want to do something, she's supportive, but she doesn't force people. Like if you go to see her about a completely different health issue, she's not going to start lecturing you about smoking. And that was my point. But yeah, she rolls her eyes at the vaping idea. But there's a quit smoking brand here that does little quit vapes, and if I missed that hand to mouth thing, I'd probably get one. But the other sorts of vapes that are becoming, I listened to it, but weirdly on the weekend driving home from seeing my sister, I listened to a podcast about vaping. It was really interesting and scary. And this isn't to do with the use of animal cruelty. What's scary about it is how it was pitched as a quit smoking method, and people were optimistic about it because they wanted people to stop smoking. But the reality is that they pitched vaping to young people, not to the 30, 40, 50-year-olds who really wanted to quit smoking. All of the advertising was pitched at young people, and even down to the flavours, like the whole, because they interviewed a lot of teenagers who are addicted to vapes now, and none of them liked the taste of tobacco. It was the, banana caramel pie flavour or the apple pie flavour or the raspberry flavour, whatever, that appealed to them because they didn't like the smell or taste of cigarettes. But there's still nicotine in the ones they're using, and so they're now addicted to nicotine. Seriously addicted, some of the kids that were talking about it. And there's also now this sort of discussion about what the chemicals that, that they use in the flavouring, like what the fuck is in them. The little cheap disposables from China, what's actually in them. But yeah, it was quite interesting because the reason vaping's been criticised is because, and also it was a big tobacco company bought one of the biggest vaping companies as well. So the vapes became another one of their products to flog rather than a quit smoking aid. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. No one had an issue with the vapes being pushed as an aid to quit smoking, because there's generations, including mine, where smoking is, a thing. And that was all well and good. But then all the advertising campaigns had young kids vaping, on the beach and at dance parties and hanging out with friends, and even just the designs and the colours, everything, the flavours, the whole thing. It was really interesting. G'day, Aussie. We didn't get any crawly traffic. I think these roadworks are making a difference. Got a bit of time, though, while I'm in the car park to catch up on all your news. Ben started smoking, now he's back only vaping. I can't see the start of that comment, but what, they started vaping, then went to smoking, and then went back to vaping? But I mean, even with my niece who's still at school here, the number of her friends, and well, not so much her close friends, but kids she knows who've been expelled from school because they vape at school, and they are addicted. Like they can't, they're more addictive it sounds to me in these kids than smoking was. Like I've never woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning wanting to have a cigarette. But these kids say that they get up in the middle of the night to vape several times. Why wants a pussy flavoured vape? Oh my God, why? I can finally read a comment and that's what I read. Why? Lowering the tone of the conversation as usual, and that is why we love why. Well, there might be a market out there for it. I personally don't want one, but maybe that's where you can, you know, be a trendsetter, get onto it, see how it goes. It could be a, you know, part of the market that no one's tapped into yet. I mean, I did try vaping to see if it was a better option for me. And, you know, and I researched them and I got one that was quite expensive but considered one of the safer options. And I found a place where you could get organic vape juice and that cost a fortune. But I got menthol tobacco flavour. You're not asking why either. The things we discussed before 8 a.m. Well, actually, it's 8:02 a.m. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was logical to get a tobacco flavored vape because it was my tobacco substitute, which in hindsight, you know, probably isn't really a smart move. But I didn't want a vape that tasted like a baked custard tart. It's colder than a penguin's ballsack in Brizzy. Hey, what's happening in Brizzy and New South Wales with floods and stuff? How's everyone doing? You've been having a very cold winter. There were quite a few people from Brisbane, Vegas, and surrounding areas of Queensland who came down for dark mofo. And before they came down, they were like, "Oh my God, you know, we've got to get out of our shorts and t-shirts and wear warm clothing." And we were sort of saying, "Look, we've got gazillions of coats and boots and beanies and scarves, or whatever you need. Don't go crazy and buy heaps of stuff." And they rocked up and they had all this really wintry stuff. And we were like, "Oh, you bought stuff?" And they're like, "We fucking had to. It's been really cold." You couldn't figure out the whole vaping thing. You were looking as an alternative to bowls. By bowls, do you mean Mary Jane? Lots IF water. Okay. It's still, oh, lots of fucking water? Still raining, Aussie. And meanwhile, Stop Animal Cruelty is saying they're having a crap summer. And then look at me. I'm in Tasmania that everyone's like, "Oh, it's too fucking cold there." And every time I've gone live, it's been blue sky and the sun's out. I mean, it's wintry temperatures, but not a drop of rain here. We're getting like a frost some mornings. And like this car in front of me's got condensation from frost wherever they've come from. But my car doesn't. What's wrong with a bowl or two? You could always do the brownies, cookies, edibles road for people that are into that kind of thing and don't want to be messing with their lungs. You could always go via your stomach. But then there is the oils too, so I guess Yeah, I'd be sticking with it too. I mean, it's God's gift to the planet. It's natural. It grows out of the ground. Just don't do the fake stuff. And hydroponic is not ideal, but if it has come from the ground, it's a gift from God. If you believe in God, Buddha, whoever, nature, Mother Nature. Mother Nature said, "Look what I got. Who's in my park? Subaru. Fucking, that's three Subarus. Bad things happen in threes. Two tailgating Subarus and then a bloody well no, I had a tailgating Subaru, a not giving way Subaru, and then a Subaru is in my park. I mean, what is going on? Let me stick my face on. But yeah, I'd be sticking with the ganja. I would say that would be the least of the bad. You know, the what is it? The lesser evil. Let's put a face on. I am so excited about catching up with the girls tonight. We're really close. I love it. Like my sister's daughter, my sister and I are best mates. My sister's daughter, who is 30 years younger than me, is one of my best friends. And my other niece, who is, well, 29 years younger, hang on. No, sorry, 39 years younger than me. Fuck me dead. As of today, she was 40 years younger than me yesterday, but today she's 39 years younger. She's like the three of us. Like, she's a teenage version of Ange and Jemima and I. It's awesome. And we all get on so well. I feel very lucky. It would make you feel like you had a bad hangover. Oh shit, and now there's a Subaru reversing in to the park next to me. I was only talking yesterday about how at one point there were shortages of windscreens for Subarus because there's so many of them in Tassie, and now today has just proven that fact. And this person is the worst reverser I've ever seen. I mean, it's smart to reverse into that spot because getting out of it is tricky, but they would have one of those reversing cameras in their car and they still couldn't reverse very well. How freaky are those cars? I mean, I only know of Mercedes, but I'm sure there's other brands that will reverse park for you. You just sit there and press a button and it just does it for you. That freaks me out. I'm like, that car could be having a bad day. It might want to slam you into the car in front of you. You know, that automatic reversing thing? I find that, no, I want control. I want control of my car because machines can go bad too. It's not just people. I'm just putting on some makeup. Once I've done that, I'll be able to read chat again, Groovers, but just done my foundation. There's so many of us that do this. Like, you got to leave home early. So you're like, well, leave home early so you don't get to work late. And then when you get to the car park, whack on your makeup. My sister taught me this trick and I love it. But on the days that I'm running late, I just don't wear makeup for the day and pray that I don't have any face-to-face clients. I had 3 yesterday. You don't have any kids anymore. You've got an 18-year-old and a nearly 21-year-old. No more babies in your... I mean, that's how we feel about Lily. She's 16 today, and it's like she is the baby in terms of nieces and nephews for me, and 16's not a baby. It's a shit age though, because you know, they're not legal adults yet, but they're older than kids. Like they sort of deserve to be. Well, I mean, I think babies. I speak to babies like they're adults too, but you know, it's a hard age because they're sort of at that. They're self-assured. They should know who they are, and if they don't, they're still working on it a little bit. But they're kind of wanting to be adults and doing all the adult stuff because their bodies are adult bodies, and they're still considered to be kidlets. I don't think there's more urgency to get out of any age group than that mid-teens age group. It's this sort of uncomfortable, awkward limbo, and they've had to deal with all the, you know, hormonal issues that come with puberty. Like, it's just a shit age. I try not to rely on the camera except when I'm parallel parking. I don't have a camera in my vehicle. My vehicle's ancient. The insurer and the windscreen people can't believe that my car is a 2009 and I've never had to replace the windscreen. They're like, what? How? I was like, well, I don't know. Guess I've been lucky. The only other windscreen I've ever had to replace in my entire life was one of my work cars. The Golf, that was the most bloody. That car was so unreliable. It always had stupid things happening to it. It was like a magnet for other cars to run into it. It just was a constant pain in the ass, that car. And it wasn't really that great. I mean, it was fast. Like its acceleration capacity was impressive, but it wasn't fun to, like, I used to have a Mazda MX-5 and that thing hugged the road like a demon, and it was fantastic for driving around windy country roads and, you know, accelerating out of bends, and you never felt like you had any control in. Well, I never felt like I had control in the Golf, whereas my MX-5, it felt like it was literally stuck to the road. Even my Swift is like that to drive, whereas the Golf, you were on constant high alert with it. It just didn't feel like it was, gripping the road. I don't know how else to describe it. So it wasn't fun. Like, if you had to do a 4-hour drive, it was physically draining because you just had to be constantly on high alert. And not just about the traffic and the road and the conditions around you, but also the car. Like, the car felt unsafe or unreliable. Well, I don't know. Crazy. It was crazy. I didn't wear any earrings today. I might wear my hair down then. There's always something. I've got product. Excellent. Let's do the hairs down. Your youngest was 18 on the 25th, your sister 40 on the 1st of July, and Josh is 21 in September. Everyone grows up too quickly. You know, and I say that to Lily, and Lily's like, I haven't grown up fast enough. I want to be 20 now. But fuck, you know, like from the day she was born to now, it feels like literally only a couple of years. It doesn't feel like 16 or 13 or whatever. Like, you know, they go from being little people to being be bra shopping overnight. It's crazy. I mean, I know my mum and my grandmas used to say that you're all growing up too quickly, and I think, no, we're not. This is taking forever. Now that I'm the old fart in the equation, I'm looking at these youngsters going, stop growing up so quickly. The newer Jeep Cherokees are trash. I had so many problems with that car and it wasn't fair. Yeah, actually, Trixie, I know a few Jeep owners, not many in Australia, but I've got a few American friends with them. I mean, I do have a couple of friends here who own Jets and they love them, but they've been unreliable. Whereas for me, the unreliability factor is a reason to not like a car because you don't want it to be constantly in the shop getting work done and also costing. And so many Jeeps have had recall issues and, it's been a bumpy road for the Jeeps. But they love them even though they spend half their time in the shop getting work done on them. My Mazda MX-5 was unbelievably reliable and a great car, and I had it for 20 years, and it took me around Australia a couple of times. Like, it was an awesome car, but it attracted people who like cutting holes in your soft top roof or kicking in every panel because people saw it. There weren't many down here when I brought it back down here, and I was living in Sydney and there were MX-5s on every corner. But when I came down here, there were like 6 in the whole state and people just smashed the fuck out of it frequently. They just saw it as a rich person's car where it had actually driven me around Australia. It was like a combi, in my opinion. But it was really reliable. But the 2 Suzukis I've owned, I had a Suzuki Sierra, like the little baby Jeeps before the Vitara came out. And now this Swift have been the most reliable cars and the cheapest in every respect because they use the same parts for all of their cars and it doesn't matter which model you've got and there's Suzuki parts everywhere. They run on an oily rag and it's actually, my car is a 2009 and it's actually worth more now than what I paid for it. It's insane. I love my little Swiftie. Biff. His name is Biff. Hello, Scout. You had to replace a bevel 3 times and you only had it for a few years. It cost you $1,200. How you doing, Scout? I went live giving everyone an opportunity to throw YouTube topics out into the ocean that they are sick of hearing about, and no one really had any except me. But I dream of a day where I wake up and even though I've unsubscribed to shitloads of channels, there is no Chris Watts, Summer Wells, I was going to say Gabby Potato, but I mean, that's a current case. But, there's just, I can't believe what's going on not just in the US right now, but in so many countries around the world, the things that are happening that people could get fired up about, and they just don't care. They'd rather go live and talk about what sort of undies Chris Watts wore. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't want to know. Ugh. You're good. You're a little sore from gardening all day. Yeah, I bet you're looking forward to a nice hot bath. How lovely. I've got another day of many calls at the office, but that's what we get paid to do. There's many people who need help and we get paid to help people, so you just get on with it. But yesterday was hard because I was on my own. I have a post-wedding colleague back in today, and she'll be all gushy and loved up and we can chat about the wedding. It'll be a fun day. I got really sore too on the weekend because I helped my brother-in-law unload a load of wood for my fire pot and then did a bit of gardening. And I'd been to the gym that morning and then late that afternoon, and then I had the whole car insurance issue. But I kept thinking, what the fuck's wrong with me? And I was like, oh, you actually did a lot today. You exerted yourself more than you have lately. You're sore and tired because you actually exercised. You did physical work. I hope everyone has a really good day. Stay warm up in Vegas and dry in Vegas or Queensland, New South Wales. I hope the summer fines stop animal cruelty. Yeah, although it wasn't too bad, Scout, because he came down the driveway, so he didn't have, and I'd cleared this space under my house. I've got this amazing wood supply. I'm really keen to do some cooking, like lives, but they'll be pretty speedy because it'll be relying on my battery on my phone. But do some campfire cooking, make some damper and a big pot of tea, sit around the fire pot and have a yarn and do some cooking. Make some s'mores, maybe even just do marshmallows on sticks, some toasted sandwiches, be fun. Although I've got a camp toasted sandwich maker waffle thing and it's been under my barbecue for 2 years. It's a bit rusty. I've got to do a bit of work on it before I can use it. Yeah, it's fun cooking, but I'll take a whole heap of shit down and I'll get the fire pot going, take a whole lot of stuff down, and we'll sit down there and make some things and cook it over I take one of the grills from my barbie. They had 3 grills when I bought it, so one of them's a spare. And I take one of those down and put it over part of the fire pot. Stick my pots and things on that side. And I'll get all the ingredients and take it all down in a big basket, have a little table set up. We'll do some campfire cooking. Make a hot toddy. Fuck the billy tea. Let's make a hot toddy. And just hang out around the fire pot. The only thing I don't like about my fire pot, I don't care about the smoke because I've got outfits that I literally wear because they're fire pot gardening outfits. Does everyone else have like a basket of gardening clothes? You don't wear your good shit when you're gardening. You wear the stuff that's starting to fall apart, but it's still passable. The only bad thing about the fire pot is that I love it and I love being down there and cooking on it and stuff, but I feel so bad because Sunny's upstairs. I feel like she knows that I'm home, but I'm choosing to be in a part of the garden that she can't get to. Oh, a little secret. Put dish soap on the bottom of your cooking pots. Won't turn black from the pot. Well, there you go. Yep, wear your old gardening clothes and then take them off and stick them straight into the washing machine with other clothes, get them clean, or put them in a laundry basket in your laundry. Don't put them in your laundry basket in your bedroom because your entire bedroom and wardrobe will smell of smoke. All right, I better go to work. I hope everyone has a lovely day, whatever you do. Thanks for hanging out with me. I might be going live tonight, so keep an eye out for that. I've got an exclusive interview that some of you might find really interesting. And then if I don't, I'll do it in the next few days. I'm working Friday as well, so this is a long work week, short going live week. But Finn and I will be back tomorrow night too with batshit. So there's a lot going on. I did think about getting a little enclosure and taking her down in her carrier and putting her in there so she can hang out with me. But she's such a little Houdini. I'm worried about her then getting her out of her little enclosure and back into the carrier. It could be, I'm contemplating it, but If she actually went out to her enclosure on the deck, which I leave open for her so she can get out there, if she gets right up the top, she can see me. But I have thought about that, Scout, but unfortunately, like, Biscuit would have been easy because Biscuit wasn't going anywhere fast anytime soon. But this little thing moves at the speed of light. And she's a fearless, like, she's an intrepid explorer. Yeah, like a dog cage. Well, that's the other thing, is get one that's sort of big enough for her to have some space, but small enough that I can pick it up and carry it back up to the house. That's what I'm thinking. She might become the camp, but then she's going to smell of bloody smoke. Yeah, no, but I need to get something that's small enough that I can put her in the house, take it down, plonk it on the grass, and then pick it up and take it back up. It's the getting her in and out of the carrier bit that concerns me, because she's fast and she can jump and she'll explore, and she'll be fucking hopeless if she gets out and she's on the road. Like, she's not going to survive in the wild very long. So I'm looking at products that are big enough to give her a bit of room when she's down there with me. I mean, she might just happily curl up and sleep or just hang out. She doesn't need a lot of space in it, but it's got to be unscented baby wipes. All right, thank you. I've got to go. They're great tips. I'll think about it. I'll see if I can find something that meets the requirements. But yeah, I'd rather not be like getting her in and out of a carrier outdoors, because no. This is the cat who got out of her carrier in the car when I was driving her home from collecting her at 10 Lives. Like, no. No, no, no. I know her. I know how this cat works. She can outwit me. But have a good day, Grievers. I've got to get going. I love you. Have a good one, everybody, and chat again soon.